What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Studying Cinema with Cozy. I'm your host, Jamal Hollywood, and today we will be discussing one of Jordan Peele's more acclaimed films, one of my favorite films by him personally, and that movie is titled Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o. And to start off, talking about the movie Us, I want to speak about how I feel like this movie really exemplifies, the whole yin and the yang, the whole inner self, and having to deal with the balance of dealing with, the other side of oneself, the side that, we're attached to, whether it be on a metaphysical level, spiritual level, however you want to perceive it. This movie really plays upon that a lot, and you can see it throughout, the storytelling in the film, how important it is to show the relationship between the main character and its own tether. Throughout the film, we are kind of convinced that, the main character, just happened to experience a traumatic experience at a young age and just, grow up and live life completely different based off of that experience. Come to find out that after that experience in the beginning of the film where she comes face to face with herself, the tethered version of herself, puts her in her place, swaps places with her to take on the life of her higher self, in a sense, the one that was living on a surface level. And throughout that, we see how she transitioned from a child that wasn't able to speak and wasn't able to really relate to everything that was going on, to learning how to communicate, learning how to fall in love with the art of dance and how to communicate through that, and leading up to her being the woman that she is in present day. And the end of the film, when we see the main character kill what is now the tethered version of herself, it really, to me, shows how the higher self is always, always able to win in the end. Despite the fact that the original version of the main character is now in the tether's place, she is not the one that became the victor in the end, even though from our point of view, she may have been the one that deserved it, being the one that didn't have really a say in what happened and just kind of got swept into it based off of being a whimsical child. With the ending of the film playing out the way it did, and how, we see the main character defeat its now tethered version of itself, and how the character laughs and everything at the end, I feel like that was a relief of, her soul, in a sense. I don't know if it was meant to be played out in a psychotic way, in a relief type of way, or there is some hidden message that we are not seeing, that Jordan Peele is trying to communicate. But the way I perceived it is, she's, experiencing the relief of killing herself, killing her higher self, her original higher self, in a sense, and taking its place and being comfortable in that space, in a sense. Once she, transitioned into the surface land and was able to become into the woman that she is, throughout majority of the film, we are convinced that, she was able to overcome that traumatic experience. Seeing the conditions of the tethered throughout the film, it's kind of amazing to see how the surface level and the surface land was able to bring that out of the tether throughout time, and how throughout time she was able to become more acclimated and to gain, more consciousness throughout the film. And I feel like that plays a part in, the power of the higher self, and how, in the end she was able to overcome her now tethered. And despite the path that, both characters take throughout the film, swapping lives, we see the outcome that we see, I think partly because of the fact that, good always wins in the end. It's always good versus evil, and we saw it throughout this film that good won in the end, even though there was some trickery throughout the film. And a lot of people, based off my experience, seeing this film when it first came out, and also revisited it because, it's on Netflix now. I know about the theory of the child being swapped out too, and him being basically a tethered version the whole time. In the film, in the beginning, when it's mentioned that they were at this location a year before, and how the child is no longer able to do the magic trick and things of that nature. A lot of people speculated that in that closet is where the tether was able to swap out. And in the end, when the child looks at the mom and has that look like he knows what's up, you can kind of see that theory coming to light. And also, he's the only one that kind of knows that he could control his tether with certain actions and movements, and he's the only one that acts upon this in the film. I don't know if that's because he, like I said, is the tethered version throughout the film, just like the mother is, or if he's just able to pick up on the fact that these are our reflections, so we're able to control them as long as we are able to tap in and basically sync up with each other in a sense. That could also play into the part of the whole role of the tether, just syncing up and doing everything that the higher self is doing, the surface level people are doing throughout the film. And it could also just be, like I said, the child becoming conscious and knowing how to control its tether. All in all, I feel like this film is a very enjoyable film. I feel like Jordan Peele did an excellent job directing it and laying out the foundation with the characters that he had at hand. I feel like the family dynamic in this film is one to enjoy, and revisiting this film years after it's been released, it still holds up. And I feel like over time, people will continue to watch this film and revisit it. It'll become kind of a cult classic in a sense. And Jordan Peele's artistic style is really exemplified in this film and other films like Us and even Nope. I feel like all three of these films that he has produced and directed thus far, with these being like the biggest films of his catalog, I feel like they all tell an intriguing story that deals with metaphysical, spiritual dynamics, and also really exemplifies a lot of metaphors that coincide to our life, our daily life, and what we experience. I feel like Us is a great combination of highlighting what we experience on a daily, with people having to deal with their inner self and having to deal with the reflection of themselves in some kind of way, shape, or form, whether it be multiple personalities, whether it be facing their inner self, their inner fears, like some of the characters do in this film, or whether it be just overcoming personal doubts that they have in their head, or personal traumas that they're trying to overcome. There's a lot of like Fight Club-esque type of feel when it comes to these type of movies, and how they speak upon our lives and how we as everyday people deal with the dynamic of tugging this way or tugging that way, the push and pull and the yin and the yang of everything, and how we balance everything that we are dealing with, whether it be on the inside or spiritual, or however you want to perceive it. All in all, I feel like like I said, this movie still holds up, and I feel like you guys should revisit this film. I know a lot of people didn't really understand this film when it first came out. I'm one of the few people that I guess kind of understood what Jordan Peele was trying to get across in a sense, or at least took it in a way that I could understand it, and grasp the information that I could from the film when I first seen it. But revisiting it, I feel like I'm still able to see certain things that I didn't really pick up on, and just kind of pick apart the dynamics of the film and the messages that the film has to offer. With that being said, I do want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Studying Cinema with Cozy. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do that. Like the video, share the video, comment. Let me know what you guys think about the movie Us. Let me know what you guys want to see reviewed next. And we're gonna keep pushing out this content. Thank you, and I'll see you guys on the next one.